Hello Silly Bakers, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Nini and I love to create healthier recipes. My focus is to incorporate more protein, more fiber, and more healthy fats in my life, and I'm here to share some recipes that have been working for me with you. So today we're making one of my favorite things. It is a classic cheesecake. So this is a lighter classic cheesecake. We are using some cream cheese, but a lot less than you would find in a typical cheesecake. So we're combining cream cheese, lactose-free cream cheese, as well as lactose-free cottage cheese. When you blend the two together really well, it really creates this lovely creamy texture. So you will not miss all of that cream cheese, I promise. It is a very easy recipe. The crust that we're making is a homemade crust, gluten-free as well. I'm also going to share with you the measurements if you want to use store-bought cookies as well. I have made this with Biscoff cookies and it is probably my favorite combination of all the cookies, including a graham cracker crust. So if you haven't tried a Biscoff cookie crust, you should definitely do that. So this recipe is very simple. Most of the work is being done by a food processor. You are making your own crust, but it takes like very little effort. And I think this will be a cheesecake that you make over and over again. I have, and it never disappoints. It does not crack. It has not cracked on me once. Also, I'm going to show you a really great trick on how to ensure that you get a lump-free cheesecake every single time. So why don't we learn how to make this really delicious classic cottage cheese cheesecake? You're going to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. You're going to grab a 9-inch springform pan. You're going to grease it and you're going to line the bottom. We're going to start with our crust. You're going to finely chop 1/3 of a cup of raw pecans. To make the crust, you're going to grab a bowl. We're going to add 1 cup of almond flour, 1/3 of a cup of oat flour. You can substitute that with more almond flour if you like. We're going to add our chopped pecans, 1/4 of a teaspoon of cinnamon, and I'm using about 2.5 tablespoons of raw cane sugar. You can use whatever granulated sweetener you like, between 2 and 3 tablespoons. You're just going to give that a mix. Next, we're going to add 5 tablespoons of melted salted butter. If you only have unsalted, just add a pinch of salt to the mixture. If you want to use store-bought cookies, I would add 1.5 cups of store-bought cookie crumbs and 5 tablespoons of salted butter. We're going to add the cookie crumb to the bottom of our springform pan and we're going to evenly distribute it, and we're going to pat it just with our hand here, ensuring that it's an even layer. You can also use the bottom of your measuring cup. You don't have to press down too hard. You don't want a hard crust. You just want to make sure it's compact. We're going to bake this at 350 for 10 minutes, just until it's lightly golden. And you can see on the edges there how nicely golden that is. That's perfect. We're going to set that aside. So first thing, we're going to grab a ceramic dish and we're going to fill it halfway with hot tap water and place it on the bottom rack of your oven. This way it creates a really lovely steam for the cheesecake. We're going to grab our food processor and we're going to add 1 package or 1 8-ounce package of cream cheese. I like to cut it up into cubes just to help the food processor, but it also allows it to get to room temperature a lot faster. We want 2 1/3 a cup of cottage cheese. This is 2% lactose free. We are going to blend this on high for 2 to 3 minutes. We're going to scrape down the sides every so often until it becomes very smooth. Next, let's add our first egg and let's process on high for about 15 seconds. Next, we're gonna add our second egg. And we're also gonna add 1/3 a cup of raw cane sugar. You can use any sweetener you like. And we're going to add 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. I would say use a minimum of 2 teaspoons of vanilla for this recipe. Mix on high for about 1 minute until smooth. We're going to grab our crust and we're going to place it on a baking sheet. And to get a lump-free cheesecake, this is the best tool, is a fine mesh strainer. You are going to add your cheese mixture to the strainer. This way it will catch any lumps that the food processor may have missed. Using your spatula, you're just gonna push that through and you can see there are a few lumps there. And just make sure that you scrape the bottom of the mesh strainer to get all of the cheese mixture. You can see that there are a few air bubbles there, so I just grab my spatula and I just break the air bubbles before I bake. Now it's time to bake. 350 for 35 to 40 minutes until it's golden and set. I like to leave my cheesecake on the sheet pan to completely cool. We're going to cover with plastic wrap and we're going to refrigerate for a minimum of 4 hours, but overnight is best. I like to use an offset spatula to release it from the pan, but you can also use a butter knife. And you're going to release it from the spring form and it's ready to serve. Before we serve, let's make a really easy caramel. This is an olive oil caramel, so I'm using a 1/4 cup of good quality olive oil. We're also going to use a 1/4 cup of cold maple syrup, 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla, and a pinch of flaky sea salt. We're going to grab our whisk and we're going to whisk it until it becomes almost like a caramel-like consistency. It doesn't take very long. If you love olive oil and the flavor of olive oil, you will really love this caramel. You can see how thick and caramel-like it has become. So I just like to grab a teaspoon and drizzle just a little of that caramel over the cheesecake. You can eat this cheesecake just as is. You can add berries, a berry compote, a store-bought caramel, whatever you like. Here is our vanilla cottage cheese cheesecake. So delicious. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and to subscribe to our channel for more healthy recipes. If you do try this classic cottage cheese cheesecake, let us know in the comments below. Until next time, happy baking.